Welcome to HortTube. My name is Jim Putnam. Today I'm super excited to be at Bellingrath Gardens. I guess this is Theodore, Alabama, but it's the Mobile, south of Mobile, Alabama. Yeah. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful garden with Dr. Todd Lasseigne, who we have some history together. He's actually spent some time in Raleigh, near where I live and near where you guys see my garden. Tell us something about yourself, Todd.
Sure. Well, Jim, thank you. It's a pleasure to have you here. I'm thrilled to be at Bellingrath. I've been moving around kind of the southeast for a while. Spent some time in Oklahoma, which you can argue if it's the southeast or not.
Right.
And I'm here back in the Gulf Coast after 30 years, being away from my native southeastern Louisiana. And, just a great place to be. Okay. It's just fabulous gardens.
It is. It is beautiful gardens all over the place around Mobile. And I love coming to this area. It's become kind of my second home. So you did your graduate work at North Carolina State University?
I did my doctorate there. Yep.
You did your doctorate?
Yep.
Okay. So that's where we overlapped. How long were you around the Raulston?
I was, I guess I started in 1996 in the fall when JC was killed in December. Gotcha. And then I became kind of a student worker those summers, and then I became assistant director from 2000 through 2004.
Okay, all right, yeah. Awesome. So Bellingrath, what's the history of this beautiful, beautiful garden?
So you're here at the creation of Bessie, really Miss Bessie, and Walter Bellingrath, their gardens and home that was developed after they bought the property in the late teens of the last century, and developed all the way through the 20s and the 30s, and became this instant destination when they opened to the public on April 7th, 1932. Had 3,000 people show up on day one.
Wow.
And they knew they were a hit, and it's been one of the grand dames of the South ever since.
Right. How long have you been director here?
I've been here 13 months.
Been here 13 months.
Yeah.
So it's going to take a while to put your stamp on it, probably on a place this big.
I was here for 2 weeks, and Hurricane Sally said, "Welcome to Mobile."
Right. So you've had to take out some big pieces, some big live oaks, and
we had some damage. It could have been worse.
Right.
If you just go across the bay in the Baldwin County, they were hit harder.
Right.
But we lost 40-foot tall American hollies, which you and I know are 75 years old
and hard to dig out of the ground.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And we had a lot of damage to our oaks. So it was for such a mild storm.
Right.
She packed a mean right punch when she turned from the north, and those northern winds came in and just wreaked havoc.
Wow. Okay. So in the continuation of this series I've been doing with, I don't know what I'm calling the series. I still don't know what I'm calling it. Let's Talk Plants is an idea I have. You can comment down below. What should I call this series with all these wonderful horticulturalists across America? Let me know. Well, we're going to get started on some of Todd's favorite pieces here at the Bellingrath Gardens. Okay, Todd, so what is this area called? This is quite beautiful.
Yeah, this is the rockery. Mrs. Bellingrath specifically told the architect how to design this because she had seen this in her travels in Europe.
Right.
And it's this wonderful microclimate.
It is
within a climate where we don't even need a microclimate. We're so mild.
Right. Yeah.
And so we got some standard things like fatsias and azaleas and aspidistra, but we stuck a plumeria in for good sake, and we have a Charles Grimaldi, Angel's Trumpet.
Yeah.
Lots of bromeliads. We try to make it look lush, and just feel like you're in a little mini paradise.
But you're talking about a microclimate up here. It actually feels cooler. I mean, I'm sure it's warmer too when in the winter. But
how far are we below the actual surface of the soil? What, 10 feet down right now?
Right.
So we're getting a cooling effect, and I'm sure that has benefits for some of the plants we're growing here. The biggest problem I have is I have to manage shade from all these trees and make sure the branches don't cover over all of the light.
Right.
But it's something we're doing, and we're just going to keep experimenting and try all kinds of cool things.
Right, and you've got the gold sedum, and you've got your potato vine, and you're trying to get a few gold pops off of this.
We do. We have a bit of the Selaginella, the peacock moss, kind of doing its thing and taking over a little bit there, but I love the bluish contrast.
It is, it's beautiful.
We're just going to keep enriching the area. It's just a wonderful space.
Honestly, I think I could spend forever here because every turn you take, every corner, there's something interesting. Let's start with the Camellias in the background because we've got Camellias Sasanquas just starting. I'm here just to put this in perspective. It's mid-October. when your Sasanquas are just starting to bloom.
Right.
Giant camellia collection here.
Absolutely, yeah. Mr. Bellingrath, it was his favorite plant.
Okay, gotcha.
And so at one point we had 2,000 cultivars.
Whoa.
Believe it or not. Now, they were mostly lost during Hurricane Frederick.
Were they mostly Japonicas? Or
I think they were mostly Japonicas.
Okay, gotcha. Wow.
One day we will rebuild that collection, but
Yeah.
working on it.
Right.
So yeah, the Sasanquas are coming in. This is some of the excellent breeding work done by Bobby Green.
Right, yeah.
Who, great camellia guy. And what a beautiful contrast right now to see that against the the butterfly ginger, Hidicium coronarium.
Right.
I mean, lovely. And then Dianella, or New Zealand. One of the plants called New Zealand flax or flax lily,
right.
Which froze to us to the ground. The foliage did when we hit 22 degrees in February of this year. So it's evergreen, I'd say, somewhere above 25.
Right.
But cold hardy, came back from the ground. So, and I love the interplay of texture and color.
Yeah, the blue. I see some of the blue cultivars of this. Do you think the green and blues are probably a little more cold hardy? I have no idea.
I don't know yet. I wish I knew. I mean, we're experimenting with, Dianella. We're experimenting with Lomandra.
Right.
Some of these things that you see recommended in a lot of Zone 8, Zone 9 nurseries. But I don't think we know because most of their data is coming out of Central Florida.
Right, I got you.
I think, JC used to say that Zone 9 was the horticultural black hole of America because it was kind of this vast potential that it had never been fully realized.
Right.
And sad to say, but kind of 30 years later, it's largely still true. We don't really know. We haven't had enough enterprising plants people testing things.
Right, and I think the other thing about Zone 9 and Zone 10 is that we can have Zone 9 tropical and we can have Zone 9 desert. And so labeling Zone 9 is like South Texas, we know is very different than Mobile.
Absolutely, yeah. We get 65 inches of rain in a normal year.
Right.
We're at 78 right now.
Right. They would beg for 65 in 5 years.
So we would rot leucophyllum.
Right.
Good South Texas plant, right? I mean, maybe in a raised bed it'll do fine, or in scree, but it's not going to be a standard landscape plant here, even though we have sandy soils.
Right. Despite this being a gardening channel, we cannot come to Bellingrath without talking about the house. It's beautiful.
The Bellingrath home is an amazing feature. It's actually 10,500 square feet. It doesn't look that way because it's kind of in a U shape.
Right. You can't get an angle where you can see. Yeah, right.
It's deceptive. So George Rogers designed it. It was based upon kind of a broad range of styles. He labeled it English Renaissance, which is a term he used. I don't really know exactly what it meant, but it's kind of a lot of borrowed styles. We have rescued iron lace, ironwork from an old hotel in Mobile. The bricks were salvaged. These beautiful terraces. We're on the east terrace, which slopes down to the Fowl River.
Right.
There's the south terrace, the north terrace, the courtyard garden in the middle of the U shape of the home.
Right.
It's very intricate. And when you look at it, it's kind of like, well, it looks old, but it also looks like it's kind of the modern flair.
It does.
Where you look back to history. And it was built in 1935.
Right, yeah.
And, we have these modern windows because of hurricanes and all, so it's a little different than when he built it. The top porch would have been open.
Right.
But what a view he had. And in pre-air conditioning days, you feel the breeze coming in right now. It's a great home.
And how far are we from the actual bay?
So Mobile Bay would be about 4 miles away from here.
Okay. And the river just comes up from there. So, and you got the live oaks all the way around. Were some of these already here and were built around, or all these planted, you think?
I think
these are smaller.
I think
here,
except for the large tree, I think these were planted. Hurricane Frederick was a direct hit. The eye hit us. And so the original oaks, which would have been sand live oaks, would be the native one here, were decimated. There's a few that are still standing. There was actually a lot of water oak, and laurel oak would have been the native trees too. Literally, he would have carved out, or would have made the terrace around it, and there were oaks right adjacent to the house because they wanted to preserve that Atlantic coastal plain forest feel. And unfortunately, they lost a lot in Frederick, but you can still see we have a lot of young live oaks coming up to repeat that.
And like we talked about, the fact that there was so much competition amongst the oaks as some of them have been removed by storms or removed by whatever, they've ended up quite a bit more limbed up than you would normally see on live oaks, which is giving you a little more high shade.
Yeah.
Or a little more bright light.
You think of a live oak as being wider than tall,
right?
But when you look at a lot of the trees here, that's not the case.
Right.
Some of it is competition. Some of it may be just genotype
right.
of local seed source or wherever we got the trees from. But I think it's fun. And of course, the museum director, great guy, Tom McGee, he's always like, don't let those branches rub the home. It might damage the home. Right. So, we have that little conflict.
Right, I got you. There's all these incredible paths here. Every time we turn and we look down another path, there's like you get these long shots of beautiful things. You got the lower things at the edges and then taller things as you move away. Let's talk about some of them in this beautiful collection.
Well, what you're seeing, Jim, is how we can mix the subtropical with the temperate.
Right.
So on the one hand, we got these Camellias sanguis blooming on top of us. Then we got maybe a standard plant you see down in the deep south, and the cast iron plant or Aspidistra elatior. Well, and then we decorate this up with bedding, which is kind of subtropical in the variegated ginger, and of course, New Guinea impatiens. Right. And look at that combination of that variegation blending with variegation, which you can't always pull that off.
Right.
And I just love how it works together. A lot of people think when you come here, it's tropical. It's like, no, we're not tropical. We have freezes in the winter.
Right.
They're just not deep freezes, except every now and then. And so we blend elements that you wouldn't see, and because of all the rainfall, it's really lush.
Right, yeah. How you said 70 some inches of rain this year?
Oh yeah. So so just good old Japanese Akuba. Yeah. This is one of the
gold
cultivars.
Dust, it looks what it looks
like. And we've had 78 inches of rain. I mean, not a leaf spot. Well, not that you get leaf spot in Akuba, but a lot of the plants don't care.
Right.
And it's unbelievable when you really sit down and think about it.
Well, and the high shade is definitely is drying them out a little bit more. You've got some autumn ferns.
Yeah.
In here,
which you would think of more as a northern plant.
Yes, I would not have thought that down here.
But fully evergreen here,
right? But just tucked up in a spot. You found a little microclimate, and and there you go. And another grouping of this. Yeah, this beautiful.
This
combo.
one we actually have. It's swallowed some bird's nest ferns. Can you see them?
Yeah.
We had these sitting in the greenhouse.
I do see them.
Almost 5 feet across, and so I was like, plant them. Never mind that, here's the thug in our garden is New Guinea impatiens,
right?
And we've cut them back half already.
Right.
But we have a 9-month growing season.
I've noticed, so the place I'm staying while I'm down here has these New Guineas in the full sun. And I think of them, as being, taking more sun, but I didn't expect it in zone 9. They are tough in the shade, and
They are, and I don't know that these highly variegated ones can handle full sun. Although I know I've seen it sometimes. But you get those black, purple leaf ones. Yeah, it's just a good solid plant. You got holly ferns, so of course mondo and monkey grass. There's a lot of things you'd expect to see, but I think we mix it up with some things you wouldn't expect as much.
Yeah, beautiful. So I have to apologize to everyone. I showed up at this garden after 3 in the afternoon, and I have not given it anywhere near the time that it deserves, nor the great plantsman enough time to go over a lot of the interesting things. I'll come back here again for sure. Where are we now in the garden?
Well, Jim, hey, we're happy to have you. We're in what we call the Asian American garden, which is perhaps my most favorite spot. Yeah. It's this natural valley that we have this waterway running through. You're looking at our moon bridge. We got some original bald cypress. Right. We have just amazing metasequoia.
Yeah, which I didn't expect to see here. Yeah.
No, it doesn't supposed to grow in zone 9, and look at it, it's like 70 feet tall.
Right.
We have curcumas, the hidden gingers on steroids. We have bottlebrush growing down into the water. It's just a really lush area, and it's a very different palette than you would think from a Japanese garden, even though we don't call this one the Japanese garden. But, it's just a beautiful area. We need to do a little work to bring some of it back up, but, we're working on that, and it's one of the treasures of Bellingrath.
And you said you've recently replaced the bridge.
Yeah, we worked with a local career tech Center. High school students and their
Oh, no way.
professors completely rebuilt this bridge for us,
Oh, wow.
including making the sides out of aluminum instead of plywood. You can imagine how the plywood was lasting,
Oh, right.
and didn't charge us a penny.
Are you serious? Oh, it's and it's beautiful. I mean,
It
it's
is.
just you see looking back through there, the fountain in the background.
Yeah,
This is a beautiful space.
thank you. I love it.
Okay, so you talk about your busy seasons coming up. What do you guys do for Christmas season here?
So we are about to enter year 26 of what we call Magic Christmas in Lights.
Okay,
and we will see tens of thousands of people come to see our lights throughout 65 acres
Wow.
in 35, however many days
Right.
between, Black Friday after Thanksgiving until the first weekend of January. So
Okay, wow. Yeah, and I can see lights here and there. People working hard.
it takes 4 months to put it up.
It takes 4 months to put.
2 to take it down. So half the year we're working on it.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Todd, for hosting. I'm glad I got to see you again. It's been a long time since I've done that, and we'll get back over here and do some more filming.
Thank you,
So
Jim.
again, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Thanks for watching, guys.